Hi to the kids of San Antonio, Texas, and welcome to a cold and snowy Scotland. My name's Craig. I'm a friend of Matt's, and he has asked me to talk to you guys for a few minutes about the work that I do in Scotland at a place called Loch Leven National Nature Reserve. Loch is the word that we use in Scotland for a lake. Loch Leven is a very important place for wildlife, and on the left of the loch there is a large island called St Surf's Island. St Surf's is the beating heart of this nature reserve and where the majority of wildlife breeds here. In the distance you can see Castle Island. Castle Island is where Loch Leven Castle is, and Loch Leven Castle is famous for being the place that Mary Queen of Scots was held captive over 500 years ago. Loch Leven is very important for wildlife, and particularly for ducks, geese and swans. We call these three groups of birds wildfowl. Now, you guys will all be familiar with wildfowl, ducks, geese and swans, because you'll see all sorts of different ones throughout the world. And there's some very cool ones in North America particularly. But you may not be familiar with the pink-footed goose, of which we have sometimes up to 20,000 individuals visiting us from Iceland. They breed in Iceland through the summer months, but because it gets so cold up there, they need to come further south to the UK and to Scotland, where it's relatively warm in comparison. Through the summer months, things change a little. As the geese leave, we get a number of species of duck coming to visit us, and one in particular we have up to 1,000 breeding pairs of, called the tufted duck. Hopefully Matt will be able to help me out by showing you a picture of the tufted duck, which gets its name from the tuft on the back of its head. So you can make your minds up, but to me, the tufted duck looks like the punk of the bird world. As well as the ducks, geese and swans that we see throughout the year at Loch Leven, it's also famous for being a very good place for a bird of prey that's seen throughout the world also, called an osprey. Ospreys are known as being the fishing birds of prey, relying entirely on the fish that they catch with their very sharp talons, both in lochs, in rivers and in the sea. And they visit us through the summer months, arriving back from spending the winter in the hotter climate in Africa. We also have another bird of prey that visits this nature reserve through the winter months, called the white-tailed eagle. I'm sure you're all familiar with the national emblem of the United States, the bald eagle. The white-tailed eagle, however, doesn't have a white head. It, surprisingly enough, has a white tail. There's a whole lot more in terms of the wildlife to see, both here at Loch Leven and throughout Scotland. This year is the year of Natural Scotland, and there's almost 50 nature reserves throughout Scotland where you can come and see the wide variety of wildlife that we have on display here. So if ever there was a good time to visit this country, now is it. So pester your parents for a holiday to Scotland, and if you're coming over here, then ask Matt for my details and look me up. I'd be happy to take you out onto the nature reserve and show you some wildlife here. But for now, take care, many thanks, and cheerio from Scotland.